Hello, welcome back to the Millennial Thoughts with your girl Alicia. Today we are going to have a special guest, but before I just wanted to welcome y'all and hopefully y'all are enjoying the series Life of Adulting. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Millennial Thoughts Pod and at Millennial Thoughts Pod. Today we have author blogger Byron with us to discuss his new book, 52 Nights Out, More to Life. Say hey.
Hey, hey.
Yes, it started out as a blog and then he turned it into a book, and we're just going to discuss basically the journey to become an author, the blogger, and just the adulting all together. So, yeah, would you, if so you can introduce yourself, tell them a little bit about you.
Hey, everybody. Like she said, my name's Byron. I'm on Instagram, OBA1911. I'm a new author. I started off blogging, and then I was like, you know what? Why not turn it into a book? And the book comes out on March 15th, which is perfect timing because it seems like we all about to be in the house for a few weeks, thanks to our good friend Corona. So, got y'all some reading material that you'll be able to find on
Yes.
Amazon on March 15th.
Just like a little bit about like you started to write your book. You started in a blog, the title,
Mm-hmm.
and like what made you even start the blog and then bring it to life to become a book.
Okay, cool. So I moved to Chicago like 3 years ago, and I was just working like as far as career-wise stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was in school, doing everything that has been outlined for me since the day I was pushed out into this earth. Everybody's
Oh
like, go to
yes.
work, go to school, get a job. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally, I was on the plan, like star person on the plan, like and everything was going cool according to that plan, but like it just felt like something was missing. Like every day I'll be like, I want to do more. There's more that I want from this life. No pun intended for the more to life. But but I was like, there's something more I want to do, like express myself creatively, add more thoughts or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start a blog. Like, and I tried to do it in college before, but
Mm-hmm.
you young and try things and it just don't work out sometimes. Um, and that's exactly what it was. So like that blog is in the wind. So then I started this one,
Mind
which was
you.
called 52 Nights Out. Everybody, I feel like everybody has some little project that they had back in the day and just had to throw it away because it didn't
Yes.
work out. Uh, but I started 52 Nights Out as just it was just gonna be a blog or whatever because I was like, I want to experience Chicago. I had been up here for like 3 years and like career
Mm-hmm.
wise, I was doing great. Like I had just moved up into a higher position. Was working in higher ed. I don't work there anymore, which you'll find out in the book because I quit that job and quit that whole career. Period. But I was working in higher ed for like since 2016. I was moving up in the field. At the time, I was making more money than I'd ever made. So it was just like I felt like career wise, I was on track. But I was like, I'm focusing so much on my career, I'm missing out on life. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
I decided to hit the city of Chicago and was like, you know what, every week I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna do something. And to keep me accountable, I'm gonna write a blog with it. So the blog, I'll go to these different events throughout blogging or whatever. And after that, I was like, after the event, I would write about what I learned from the event.
So
But I
how
didn't write about necessarily. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
how did you pick which event you wanted to go to? Was it the creative? Was it where it was at? Was it who was coming? Pick that event to go to.
So any event that I went to, honestly, sometimes it would be a random Eventbrite search, Instagram. Our FBI agents be pointing us to different events and stuff too.
I see
So,
you wrote about that in the book.
so literally, it would pop up on my news feed, which I thank God for my FBI agent. By the way, I'm looking for a cheap TV, a cheap plasma 55-inch minimum. So
So you hope they
if
help
that
you
pop up on
out.
my Instagram,
Hmm.
right, please. So yeah, like literally I just let them fall into my lap type deal. And when they fail, I would like, like the whole point, I would go to the event. Like I said, I write about what I learned from the event, but it wasn't like, oh, I went to an event about, what is it? I went to an event, like, for example, I went to a Summer Walker concert. So I didn't go there and learn about Summer Walker, but I went to the event and thought about things from a life standpoint. So,
Hmm.
in one of the chapters, I write about going to a Summer Walker concert, but I also write about the mindset of being over it and like be into a state where you like, you're over it, you don't want to do something,
Mhm.
but the outside world pushes you to do something, even though you don't want to do it.
Mhm.
And just that whole process and getting over it past that. So like every chapter, I'll go to an event and write about the event, but I'm also going to write about how that connects to life and something that I learned.
Oh yeah, because I do remember the Summer Walker one. Well, not trying to give too much of away, but like everything that's how she's like she doesn't like really performing and stuff like that, but she's still doing it. Or like it's her last
Hmm.
one and stuff like that, going back and forth because she's making the music, but she doesn't like the idea of performing and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, I did see
And
that.
yeah, and the point behind all that was like so many times when we enter into like a job, career, or anything else, we take things as face value because that's how they've always been. And then, like for example, Summer Walker, she's like, I love making music. This is my passion, but there's parts of it I don't like. And she was getting thrashed by the internet. Like the internet was holding no bars, like taking no prisoners when it came to her about that. And it's like, she loves making music and this is what she wants to do with her life, but that doesn't mean she has to do everything that everyone has always done to create music.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so we shouldn't be so harsh on people and put people in like these constricting boxes like, oh, if you don't do this, then you don't really care about music. No, like that's not saying that, but it's like I care about music, but I also care about myself too. And also what
Mhm.
I'm willing to do to have this career.
Yeah. So what? So with the blog, did it turn out successful how you wanted it, how you like to do it in order for you to turn it into a book? What made you switch it to the book? You wanted more people to read it? Like who do you want to read it? Who do you want it to help when you put it out?
So I've definitely wrote this book. I wrote it for everybody,
Mhm.
but I do like I wrote it to inspire people to take a like what I did was take a step back and look at my life and look at different things and start just paying attention to the world around me. And I just wanted others to do the same thing. I wanted people to actually like not just look at every experience and be like, oh, okay, whatever, but to actually, start to think about the world around them, how they're interacting with it, and it like if they're really following what they're supposed to be doing. That's why like the title also is More to Life. It actually comes from a song by Stacy is her first name. I can never pronounce her last name, but and I'm not even gonna sing it because
It's
Lord
okay.
knows. But but I wanted people to actually start thinking, is there more to life?
Mhm.
Like what more is out there or whatever? Like stop defining ourselves by just one career or oh I'm this and that. Like you can be whatever you want to be. And then the blog started off just to I was just writing it around just to spread it around people in the city because I also wanted to meet more people in the city doing things and be invited to those things. But as it kept going, I gained a little bit of popularity. People were like, oh, okay, I like your writing and stuff like that. And then I was
Mhm.
just like, well, why not turn it into a book? Like I wanted to give myself that room to grow,
Mhm.
which writing it and turning it into a book was a little bit more nerve wracking than a blog because a blog most of the times you kind of know the age group that's going to read your blog. But when you turn it into a book, I was like, well, now that I got a book, my mama gonna read it, and there's a few cuss words in there. Like there's cuss words. I'm drinking. She's just not gonna be
Okay.
pleased. But right, but that was just more to it. So I was just like, give myself room to grow and turn it into a book. And it's so easy to do things like that nowadays. The only thing that's literally stopping us from chasing our wildest dreams is us. Like we have the outset, the resources and things. We don't need a huge publishing
Mhm.
company anymore to actually get books printed. We don't need someone to make our beats for us to be produced and to be out there in music. Like we just need the passion and
Mhm.
we just need a passion and a good YouTube channel to teach us, and we'll get there.
Yes. So when it comes to more to life, and you were talking about as in like you don't have to be defined by your career, you don't have to be defined by this and that. Can you talk a little bit more about your transition, I guess, and like maybe the reasons why you were able to quit your job or why you did quit your job and like you switched it? Because I know sometimes millennials in the instance they do want to quit their jobs but they don't know how to quit their jobs. They're in life, but they don't really know the steps to take. And so I'm not saying all the steps are the same, but like maybe like what your thought process when you figured out that transition that you wanted to do.
Okay, cool. So, um, every day I woke up and was like, I hate this job. Like, and if you feel that way, then you really got to start thinking about how to an escape plan. The first time that well, actually, sometimes we got bad days at work. You think about that three times in a row or more. You need to start thinking about an escape plan, looking for a trap door because like that literally messes with your mental
Mhm.
health, messes with your mind. So like it got to the point where every day I'm just like, oh my god, I got to go to work and or whatever, and it's just like that literally consumes your whole life. Like, I worked Monday through Friday, the whole 9 to 5 traditional gig type deal. And then on Saturday would literally be like my only day where I didn't work or think about work. And then Sunday at 6 o'clock hit, here comes the dark clouds, the doom and gloom, because Lord knows I got to be up in the morning bright and early on Monday. And so I just got to the point where I was like, I don't know what I'm getting ready to do, but there's money, there's different ways to make money
Mhm.
now than just going to a 9 to 5. Thank God for the gig economy. And I'm getting ready to figure something out.
Yes.
So yeah. So I like say like so I have PTO at my job. So if you have PTO and they pay you out for it, if you quit, hold on to that PTO tight because that'll be an extra paycheck.
Mm.
So I held on to that PTO. um I stopped going on vacations because I know I'm gonna quit and I know I'm gonna need the PTO. And of course at first I'm thinking I'll just find another job. So I was so down and out and ready to start working at this job that I'm putting in applications at Planet Fitness. But for some reason, like they wouldn't call
They
me
wasn't trying
back.
to call
Like
you.
I, I don't know what was wrong with my resume, but Planet Fitness wasn't feeling me. So and I applied to them all over the city. I live in Chicago. There's like 50
Mhm.
million. All 50 million didn't call me back. So I, I still don't know what's up with that. But so I always got to the point after like I was applying for jobs because the first thought when you want to quit your job is like I can't move until I find
Mhm.
another one, which is an illusion. So I went ahead and put in a was putting in resumes and stuff like that, but wasn't getting nothing back. And then it got to a certain point where I'm like, well, I honestly don't even want to work full time like that. So I started looking at part time gigs. So once that happened, I once that happened, I was like, okay, well, if I can't find anything, then I'll go ahead and um, if I can't find anything, then I'll go ahead and just quit without finding another job. I'm just gonna Uber and put money in my savings account and pay off all my credit cards and all my debt, and then I'm gonna save money and just quit and figure it out later. And so that's basically what I did. I just set myself up, which was nerve wracking because it's like I've never not had a
Uh-huh.
job. And so like I'm living in Chicago. I'm nowhere near my mama and them. So like if I fail, then I'm going
Mhm.
back home. I'm on the first
Yeah,
train
you
home.
said
So
that you was gonna Uber.
uh
It kind of messed up. You said you was gonna do Uber and what?
like Uber, DoorDash, or any type of gig economy
Mm.
job that was out there. Like
Hmm.
anything that
That
could
could help bring in your money.
right. So
Hmm.
like I had the savings, but I was also like, if I can just keep building on that to where I don't have to, then reach dip into as much as my savings every month, then that's cool. So I got into all those things, and I
Did
found
you
an
have a certain
intern.
amount of savings? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, no, you're
Did
cool.
you have a certain amount that you were saving every month, or did you have a certain amount of savings that you put away? You're like, okay, I'll be good if I have this amount to live off of.
So you got to think when that's happening. You definitely got to think about the timing or really your expenses. So for me, it was December, which means that following January, I knew I was also going to get a tax check too. So that helps out. Um, but for me, I quit in December, and I thought about my monthly expenses spread out, able to pay rent for at least until April if I don't find another job.
Hmm.
So I calculated all my expenses and saw how much I needed to, and then basically saved up that much. I didn't even have a car when I decided I was going to quit my job. So I found the cheapest car known to man that fit Uber standards, and bought it.
Oh, you
I
didn't even
didn't
have
have
a
a
car,
car,
and you
and
were
Uber
trying
was my
to.
plan, and I didn't have a car.
I am
But
cracking
look,
up.
when you
What,
gotta go, you
Byron?
gotta go. Like, and that's the bottom line. Like, so
Period. I guess.
bottom line. So I bought the car and I paid that off too. Like that was a part of my plan. I budgeted enough to pay that off. So every dollar I was making it, I like had some money saved up. I put it on the car, and every dollar I was making towards Uber, I was making these huge lump sum payments on my car or whatever. So like quitting my job also took away a lot of work too. Because it's like, okay, when I get off my 9 to 5, I'm also in school, and I'm also Ubering. So like my time was like so spread thin, and I'm out here trying to go out to an event every week to write a blog. So my time was spread thin. But like I
Mm-hmm.
said, when you finally get to that point, like you decide, you have to really decide. Like it's a lot of work to quit a job and be comfortable at the same time. And so, but if you're ready to do that and like take these steps or like think about it logically and step out on that
Mm-hmm.
courage, then you'll be fine. You just have to really think and prepare yourself for it.
Yeah, no, I think nowadays, like we hear it, but I like when you're like your exit plan and like how you're talking about what you did, because sometimes they be like, well, if you don't like your job, quit. If you don't like your job, quit. But then it's like, okay, well, I quit that. I don't have no money. I don't have no strategy. So are you gonna help me figure out how to pay my
Right.
bills? Like I'm just quitting, and then there's no more money coming in my pockets.
So,
And so I think it's just so quick to be like, oh, okay. But now they do have these different things like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, so that you can make some quick and extra money. So it can be easier for you to have that transition when you do want to quit your job.
yeah.
What are some takeaways that you believe that you want your audience to learn when they read your book, like when they finish your book?
So, and right before I get into that, I also want to make sure that y'all go ahead and apply for that free medical insurance too through the government when you quit your job, because your benefits do go away. So
Oh,
I had to do that. That's the biggest part of the plan. Make sure you do that for real.
that's true. Yes, yes. What do you go where? Where do you go
Well,
to?
affordable health care, but Obamacare.
Oh,
So
yeah.
my my king, right?
To be honest, yeah.
Even gone, but your effects still are saving my life. So,
Yes.
but yeah, so make sure y'all do like the healthcare, and also there's a thing called Stride, and they have like dental care and vision care and stuff like that that you can pay small amounts and get that some coverage monthly. So, just search the internet for stuff like that too.
Oh, yeah, that's good to know. And this virus stuff is going around. Some people don't have health care, so they
Right,
need to be able to figure
right.
out what's going on. So yeah,
Um, but yeah, back to the
but
question about the book. What was it again?
I was saying, like, what takeaways do you want people to learn from your book, like more to life, like when they get done reading, they're like, oh yes, this was a good book because of
Right.
you
So,
know.
I'm sorry, Obama just gets me all caught up, but the biggest, for
Shy
real,
Town.
the biggest thing I want anybody to take away from the book is that you can literally do whatever you want to. Like that, there's more to life than what you feel like you're going through right now. At any moment, you can find change. At any moment, um, you can really take a look on and start trusting yourself. Start trusting what you say to yourself. Like a lot of us hear inside, like, "Oh, this isn't for me," and "I don't want to do this," or just different, or "This is the right path." And we ignore those things because of like what we've been told previously. Like, when I told my mama and them I was quitting my job or whatever, which I touch on in the book about me quitting my job, when I told my mama and them about that, they were literally tripping because they're like, you got benefits, you have vacation time, like just all the things that make it a great job. It's salary, blase, blase. Like every year,
You wasn't
nothing.
hearing it.
Every year you get a 3% raise and you get a bonus. Like it was just like things that nobody in their right mind, quote unquote, would want to quit. But at the end of the day, if it's not for you, it's not for you. And that's to the point where we got to get
Hmm.
to is listening to ourselves. And that's why I really want people in the book. Like the whole time I'm writing this book, I'm starting to listen to myself, to trust myself more, to go down these journeys and experience people and experience cities. And I want people to experience the world that they live in better than they have, or more fully than they have, I guess is a better way to say it. Like, and stop living in these
Hmm.
bubbles that are these constructive views of what a good life is supposed to be and create your own good life.
Yes, I like that. And so when I wanted to go back to when you were saying how you literally made time to create. So you were going to these events and you were going to work and you were in
Mm-hmm.
school? Is that what you were saying? You were
Yes.
doing all three of them Oh my goodness, I know you was tired.
Beyond.
But it's like, yeah, it's like making a way out of no way. Like, okay, I want to start this blog or I want to experience this and I want to hold myself accountable. And sometimes I think some people don't even know how to start, don't even know where to
Mm-hmm.
start. And so I like how you were just like, okay, well, I went on Eventbrite. I went on this. I see what I wanted to do and I was able to go and do that. And I feel like some people do want to do a lot of things, but I feel like some people are confused or they may not know where to start to create what they want to see,
Right,
you know?
definitely. I agree. It's funny that you say that about me being tired because one of the chapters in the book is called "I'm Tired AF," and and it's basically talking about like you know what, like after doing all this stuff and doing all these school work, Uber, all this other jazz, you get tired. But the thing is, you can either be tired right now and get to where you want to, or you can just be tired for the rest of your
Hmm.
life doing something that you know is not for you. Because after a while, you just get drained getting up, going somewhere you know you're not supposed
Right, and
to.
you just keep getting that 3%
Right,
raise
like so.
after every year. Like, I don't want a 3% raise. I want to make my own
I want
money.
to create my own avenue, like period.
Yeah, now with things going on, and it's just so crazy about like the freelancing world. It's like you can work from anywhere, you can do anything, and you still can make money. Whereas if you have to go in, things like this can affect your money and stuff like that. So I just think that the world is changing, and I think that our generation is just like we don't really want to wait for that 3% raise. We want to do what we want to
Right.
do now, and I think that's so hard for the other generation to like catch up and listen to. I feel like some people are getting it, but it's still so hard for the next generation to hear us say that like we're quitting jobs, we don't care, or we're about to go travel, we don't care about what's going on. Or not we don't care, but we ain't gonna let it stop
Right.
our life, I guess, in a sense.
Definitely.
So yeah. Yeah, so is there anything else, I guess? Oh, I wanted to ask you, well, what's next? So like after your book, what do you want to see? Do you want to, I guess, still, I'd like, I know you're creative, but are you looking into going into the author room? Are you looking into keep pursuing that, or is just like you want to write this book, you want to keep your blog on? I don't know, do you still have your, I know you still have your blog, but do you still write for your blog now?
So because with the book coming out and everything, I've taken a little break from the blog, just to focus all my energy
Mm-hmm.
on, the book. Like I thought it was gonna be easier than it was after I wrote the like, because I was like, okay, I've been writing this whole content for a year. I just got to put it together and put it on Amazon. It's gonna be a day,
Mm-hmm.
but there's editing,
Mm-hmm.
editing,
Yes.
like
And that's why my book is still sitting in Amazon's cart.
yes,
Because I could not do the editing, ooh, the trying to format it. That's really what
a
stresses
hundred
me out, the
percent.
formatting and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
And
So that's why I was like, you know what, the blog's got to be put on pause for a little bit until I can actually figure this book stuff out because it was my first time, and like I said, never underestimate the power of a YouTube channel. So I was on YouTube constantly trying to figure out like, okay, what's the best strategy for putting this book out, and how do you do this, this, and that. So that was another thing about it, and yeah, so that was the gist. So that's why the blog came to a halt. But I definitely want to continue writing. I'm gonna write more. As the inspiration comes. But like one thing I always tell people, and they be like, "You're doing too much." Is like I have my vision in living is like I'm barely going into the same workspace or office space every day. I'm in school right now to become a counselor. Um, so I'm
mm-hmm.
interning at um a foundation that works with democracy in schools and making sure that we're able to provide like equal practices as far as like the democracy process goes here in America. So supporting that. I want to go back and get my PhD in social psychology, but I want to focus on political psychology, do a lot of research in that. So yeah, I've got my hat in everything. Like at this point in my life, I'm gonna do everything I want to do while becoming a fashion icon.
And,
So I gotta look good doing it.
all wild. And but so isn't that, well, with your degrees and stuff like that, is that working? Is that going towards a 9 to 5? Or are you just going to use that to help you in your own career?
So definitely, I want to open up my own practice. So that'll be kind of how I'll shape my hours. I'll probably like become a
Oh,
professor, some
okay.
sort of researcher, just different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily know how it's all gonna shape in the end, but it's just I'm kind of doing the
Mm-hmm.
steps to kind of build the life that I want to. And one thing I focus on now is not necessarily what the career will look like, what the job space will look like, or where I will even work. But I really or where I'll work or what I'll do out of my own offices. But what I really focus on more is the type of impact I want to put into the world and how I can create that from wherever space I'm in. So just building myself up to make sure I can put that
Oh,
input out there.
oh, I like that. Okay, say it again. So it's not where you're
Right.
working.
It's not where you're working, but the
It's
impact you want to
you're
put.
focused on the end. Yes, I love that. That should be like a quote for one of your pages or
Honestly,
something like that.
maybe in 20
Yeah.
in 20 in the year 2059, people will be able to Google that and see my quote somewhere. So
2059. I am cracking up. That is so funny. But yeah, I really like that. I'm really excited. I want them to know, like, where can they get your book at? Where can they find it at? You should let them know all that.
So my book is on Amazon. On March 15th, you'll be able to look in my bio on Instagram, OBA1911, and you'll see the link for the book. It is an audio book. Well, not audio, my bad. I'm tripping. I want an audio book. I'm going to figure that out.
Yeah.
But there's an ebook and there's a paperback that you can order offline. So, and I wanted to keep it like as cheap as possible, combined it with like, the printing cost and everything, because
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted people to read the book. Like, I just want people to read the book. I want people to have it in their house. Like, I want to be on somebody's coffee table.
You want to be being be on somebody's book, whatever they have out here
Somebody's
nowadays. What is
list.
it, bookshelf or
Right.
something like that? Yeah. Yes. Well, I didn't know if you know this, but sometimes you really can go and set up shop like in front of Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that and sell your book. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Yeah, you can go on Barnes and Noble, and it's like you're an author or whatever. You can go, and sometimes they'll like put your book in their stores, but you have to see it. But they do things where you can set up like in the front, and you can like sell your book right there. So if you want to look into
Put
that,
me on
you should look into
game.
that. Yeah. I've been looking to. I looked into it a long time ago. I haven't put my book out yet, but yeah, they do stuff like Barnes and Nobles and publishing and things like that. So I would say to look into that if you want to
So,
do that.
and
So your name could be there.
I do think the energy that you put down to this world is dope too. You're
Thank
defined by so
you.
many things. You're out here giving us travel tips. Your blogging, your podcasting. Like you got a book in the works, waiting to just
Yeah.
slap us across the face with that. So like
Yeah.
you're gonna be on the coffee table next to me. So I think it's really dope,
Yes.
setting
Thank
by
you.
example. So
Yes, and FYI, me and Byron went to college together and go cards, U of
cards,
L.
cards, cards.
Shout out to that. And oh yeah, we were in NABJ together, so yeah, that's great.
Loving ABJ.
But yeah, so yeah, yes, I know we're just some dope millennials out here. We trying to help y'all out, So go support his book. Go follow him on Instagram, and also make sure you follow Millennial Thoughts Pod on Instagram. And leave us a review on iTunes. I'm trying to get the reviews up. So, yes. Is there any last things that you would like to say?
Yeah.
Advice, tips, or tricks?
Um, just I really want everybody to just start listening to themselves more. That will take you way farther than what you think. The moment you start trusting yourself and listening to yourself and realize that the answers are inside you and not in anybody else's anywhere, then the quicker you'll see, or the better you'll see how things will start to change in your life.
And drops mic. Boom.
Disappears like
Yeah. And that's really all we had. That's all we had to say. So shout out to Byron, March 15th. This is coming out after. So it's already passed. So, you can go to that link and get that book, cop it, and, tag him in it when you get it so he can see it and, share it, post it so we can get it out for people to know, to listen to themselves and nobody else.
perfect. Thank you so